Not to get too deep into the weeds on that, but I'm reminded I had an executive once that I was dealing with, and he was expressing his own frustration of the sheer volume of requirements on his calendar. I get invited to all of these meetings, and he was going on and on and on, and I go, wait a minute, you're the senior executive. Who's inviting you to these meetings? And the long story short, what we came up with was the reality that the vast majority of his meetings, he was receiving invitations from all over the company because people were doing different things, different projects, different initiatives where they would say, this thing is probably going to touch so and so's domain. I better, out of courtesy, I better invite him to our meeting so he knows what we're doing. And oftentimes he had no role in the meeting, no expectation of input. He was just being invited as a courtesy. So I encouraged him to try just being a lot more judicious about the meetings. Number one, because he was a senior executive, demand that they send you an agenda. Uh, don't accept an invitation if it doesn't have an agenda attached to it. And if that's enough impetus for them to, clarify their thought, then now you've got information to make a decision. Do I really need to be the one at this meeting, or can I send one of my people to go? He started doing that, and in just a couple of weeks' time, I went back to see him again, and he was a different person. He was highly energized, highly motivated, giant smile on his face. And I said, what's going on? And he said, let me show you, let me show you. And he turned his computer around. He goes, look at this calendar. And there was all this white space on it. And I said, that's awesome. I said, so I take it you've tried a few things. He goes, absolutely. He said, I eliminated 2/3 of the meetings I had on my calendar. I said, great. So what are you doing with it? He goes, oh, he said, just since I saw you last, I was able to lean into 2 or 3 big deals we had going on. I landed a whole new $50 million contract. And he said, I wouldn't have had time to do that if I was still going to all these meetings.
Sure.
And, he was just giddy that he said, now I get to do what I'm supposed to be doing in this job. And I'm like, yeah, there you go. Take ownership of it. And to your point, control the things you can control.